Ogni volta che mi libero di una compulsione, ne spunta fuori un'altra.
Stai sbadigliando. Allarme spoiler. Sono a un punto morto.
How comedy changed through your career? Speaking of Scrubs and Ted Lasso and now Shrinking, there was a change in, I don't know, sensibility in
Yes.
general audience. How you dealt with that?
All right, I'll tell you, it's a cool question because I'll say something I haven't ever said before. The weirdest thing, when my career started out, the first show I created was an American show called Spin City with Michael J. Fox. And back then, when you were trying to create a television show, you wouldn't believe it. In the meetings, they would say, you need to come up with a show that everyone in the world wants to watch. It wasn't, you weren't allowed to do a show for a small group of people. You know, it's got to be something that Republicans, Democrats, wealthy, middle class, European, everybody wants to watch it. And that's a weird way to think. And Scrubs was really interesting because it was a very specific sensibility that we go, hey, if we get a huge core of nerds that are devoted to the show, maybe it's not a massive number, but that will follow it from place to place, I think we can make it forever. And that was my first kind of introduction into what streaming television is, because now streaming television is so cool. If you make something that a small group is passionate about, and you're writing specifically for people of like-minded voices that enjoy what it is you put out there, it doesn't have to have universal appeal. It just has to be well-made and strike a chord. The second part of your question, and I'm being too long-winded, so I'll go a little longer, is the times change. Spin City, I couldn't have done Spin City when I did Scrubs. I couldn't do Scrubs now. I wouldn't be surprised if Ted Lasso and Shrinking, if 10 years from now there weren't shows like that. Comedy changes. I grew up as a young man that one of my favorite movies on the planet was a Mel Brooks movie called Blazing Saddles. I believe if you put that out now, that after it first premiered, they'd throw you in jail. And I find it to be evolving that way, challenging in a positive way. It's so fun to know, hey, I have to surround myself with young men and women and people of different backgrounds and voices, and listen and hear and try to stay connected to the world and to younger people's worldviews in a way that you try to write something that fits the times. You know, there's no way back when I pitched Spin City that if I had gone around and said, I want to do a TV show about grief and about a guy dealing with the death of his wife, and he does a lot of drugs and drinks too much and is a neglectful father, and it's a comedy, they would have said, get out of the room. And now I get to do that stuff.
Oh, salve. Paul.
Sono preoccupato per te.
Sono ancora in lutto.
Sei diventato insensibile.
We see you in an episode doing an impression of Harrison Ford in front of Harrison Ford. How it was doing that. The impression was quite good, in my opinion, and how it was to work with him.
Thank you for the compliment. I actually can do a better impression, but I was trying to be realistic because Jimmy is not an impressionist. If I had to do Harrison Ford, if we turned off this camera, we could do a full interview. Yeah, but that said, working with Harrison Ford was a dream. You know, it honestly was. He's an amazing actor. He's an amazing man. It's not easy to last this long in this business at all. And I think that the real discovery of this thing is that Harrison Ford is funny. You'll see as the episodes go on, he gets a chance to play a lot more, and man, he's funny.
E lasci la macchina così.
Sono un bianco a Pasadena. La polizia probabilmente me la riporterà a casa.
Deve essere bello.
GP drives such a strange car, and The Shrinking is a show about details. There are details about the emotional state of people in the interiors, in the outfits. So why that car?
I love your question. I love your question. The idea behind that car is that it was the fun car that he and his wife bought for road trips. And when she passed away in her car accident, she was driving the safe family car. And so now you have the kind of quiet sadness, bizarreness of somebody grieving, driving what was supposed to be the fun car.
One last flash question. Who will you choose between Paul, Jimmy, and Gabby as your personal therapist?
By the way, in real life, I would choose Gabby because Jimmy is a little manic and crazy right now, although I think there's an undercurrent of...
Spoiler, I asked everybody and everybody told me Gabby.
Yeah. And by the way, and Paul, I'm just too scared. I can't separate Paul from Harrison. He's too intimidating in real life. I would be terrified to tell him all the mistakes that I had made. And I think Gabby's just a good hang. You know what I mean? I think she gets it.
Ciao Derek, come stai?
Porto a spasso il cane che non volevo.
Una mia paziente si è trasferita dalla sorella.
Sembra che la giornata cominci bene per tutti e due.